Welcome to Moe's Paisley Penny Arcade. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Hello, and welcome to the Paisley Penny Arcade. I am Mo. I hope you are doing well. Today is Wednesday, July the 1st of 2026. How you doing? Today I'm going to talk about the I Ching. I've been talking about tarot an awful lot, and so I thought I'd change it up a little bit because I've been using the I Ching a lot, and it constantly blows my mind. What can I say? Hello, Renee. Welcome to the chat room. Well, those of you watching in the future, keep in mind that you can always come into the chat room, which is YouTube at Mo Abdelbaki, Moabdelbaki. Easy to do. And it's a live chat room, so happy July to you, July the 1st. We've already gone through half the year, so 2027 is just 6 months away, which means it's beginning to look a lot like Christmas. Not really, 90-some degrees outside, and but that's okay. That's all right. Anne, hello! How wonderful to see you! What a thrill! What a joy! Hello, Anne. Bonjour. So nice to see you. I Ching today. And Pamela's in the room. Hello, Pamela. Good to see you. How nice. How wonderful it is to have people in the room today. A lot of fun. The I Ching is so much fun. And I enjoy it thoroughly. As a matter of fact, I wear these here things all the time, and I'm going to be talking about them a bit. But I got to thinking about the I Ching in that I don't think we use it as often as we could. We use tarot. I have my tarot cards right here all the time. Let's see, it's been so long. Oh, I know how time management is. And no need to apologize for not coming in. Trust me, I get time management very well. I thought, I'll write a book about tarot and my 60 years of working with it. And have I written a book? No. No. It's good to see you too. It's wonderful to see you. I have people that I correspond with over the years, and they're wonderful people. Wonderful people. I get a feel for people. I used to read out of my home, and I used to say that by the time I got from my front door to my reading room and sitting down in the office there, I knew who they were. Or the reading room. I have an office and a reading room, and I don't use the reading room anymore because we don't have people come here anymore. Just times changed. COVID took care of a lot of that, trust me. Took care of a lot of things, as a matter of fact. But c'est dommage, as they say. It was really something. COVID was a drag, wasn't it? Man, could have been handled a wee bit better, I think. Just a tiny bit better, I think. That's just my take on it. But the I Ching, get back to the subject at hand. The I Ching is such a powerful, powerful tool. And I don't think that we use it much. Now, in other parts of the world, I think they may use it more than we do. It's such a powerful tool. And I use it all the time. I mean, I take these things off my wrist here all the time. I'm working on a different version of this. This is satin cord. I may make one out of paracord, microcord, they call it. Thank you. Thank you, Anne. That's so very kind of you. I feel pretty darn good. This is a good day, I feel pretty darn good. And drinking some really cheap tea. I made the mistake I drink decaf now. I got off the caffeine. God, I've been drinking caffeine since I was 12 years old. My dad said you have to wait till you're 12, and then he made me some really good coffee and got me hooked. It's like, and when I would cram for exams in college, I lived at home, which is just delightful, just delightful. Ate really good food, and because my mom was a fantastic cook, she could have been a chef in a restaurant. She was that good. And my dad would make me Turkish coffee, and oh my God, it was so wonderful and so strong. And I'd have people over to study. We'd study. I was a history major, and they'd be history major, and he'd make these kanakas, they're called, to make Turkish coffee, and he'd make this really incredibly strong, and we'd pour it. It was like a narcotic. You'd drink this stuff, and you'd be like, and you could remember things incredibly well. And oh my God, they would love to come over, and he'd make these huge ones, and we'd drink these mugs of Turkish coffee. Turkish coffee. In the Ottoman Empire, we were only allowed to drink 3 cups in a row, and then that was it. You couldn't drink any more because of their, it's a fact, because it's very, very hot, very sweet, and very potent. And we'd drink these mugs, and we'd be just crazy. Your mind would just absorb everything, including everyone else's aura, and it was wonderful stuff. Thank you, Dad. Last month celebrated the 101st anniversary of his birth. What a great man. So here we are, I Ching. I get off track a little bit, just a wee bit. But the I Ching, the reason it's so... thank you, Pamela. It's good to have you here. So good to have you here. I'm a people person, and when there are people in the chat room, I thrive. I can speak to an empty room. In fact, I do it all the time. Anyway, I amuse myself. I get out my nose flute and my harmonica, which is over there, and anyway, I'm sorry. Yeah, just a wee bit touched. I've been doing metaphysics all my life. All my life. I was on the tarot, all things tarot board, and someone said, "Let's see your tower card." So I took one of my cards that I designed, the mustache wax. Get that on the nose flute. It's so much fun. You don't play a nose flute when you have a bad cold. It's just terrible. And I put my tower card. I drew a tower card of a Zeppelin coming in for a landing to a Zeppelin tower. And Zeppelin towers could be very, very tall. Did you know that the Empire State Building, don't mean to point, the Empire State Building had a Zeppelin mooring dock at the top of it? Fact. And scary. Can you imagine that? And they docked Zeppelins there at one time. And so that, and it's a picture of of a Zeppelin trying to dock at a Zeppelin tower in a lightning storm. What could go wrong? What could go wrong? Boy, I'm a mess here. Clothing has always confounded me. I've always thought I should just wear a uniform. I kind of do, blue jeans and whatever shirt is next in the rotation. Just grab one and put it on. Could have just as easily been a tie-dye t-shirt today. But yeah, I mean, I'm just give me a shirt. Put on my I've got these great pants now with 8 pockets, which I am so happy about. I love them. They're blue jeans. But oh my God, they have all these pockets, and I'm so happy. And people said, "Oh, electrical wires," and I'm like, "No, but who would know? This younger generation doesn't know anything about Zeppelins, and they don't know about Zeppelin towers." And I thought, oh, they don't get it. They don't get it. So Renee says it would not be the Paisley Penny Arcade without getting sidetracked. And yeah, you're right about that. You're right about that. The I Ching. That's what we're talking about today. So the I Ching, I don't, to me, I mean, because I was introduced to it at the age of 14. So in a couple of years, it will be 60 years since I've been using the I Ching. And so it's been, pretty darn close to that. And it's a great story on how I was introduced to it. I'm not going to tell it today. I've told it before. It was just a remarkable story. Kind of one of those meant to be. I'm not trying to turn anyone on here with my clavicle on how it came to be, but it was pretty remarkable. Meant to be, one of those meant to be stories. I'll tell it again someday. It was because I was a wise guy, a wise arse, as the British would say, and I was born in England, so I'm entitled to say it, and I don't have to use a terrible accent to do it. So the key is the I Ching can be easy. Doesn't have to be complicated. If you're interested in the 3-coin version of using the I Ching, I have a very popular, if I do say so myself. I didn't know it was going to be so popular. It's been viewed like 1,000 or 10,000 or some thousands of times on the 3-coin method of using the I Ching because it simplifies it a great deal. It's very good. Let's see. A couple got arrested today for scaling the Empire State Building. God almighty, Pamela, that's terrifying. You distracted too? Good. I'm not the only one. Yeah, that's insane because it's very, very tall. And that would be the King Kong version of doing things. And when he fell from there, it hurt him very badly. Of course, I think they shot him and stuff with these little, rat-tat-tat-tat-tat. What a sad story that is. 'Twas beauty who killed the beast. Last words of that famous movie, King Kong. And really a lousy story. I mean, it just breaks my heart. Movies like that, it's a fun movie, but it kind of is heartbreaking when you think about it. You go capture this big gigantic gorilla out in the wild, and you sedate him, and you bring him back, and he falls in love with Fay Ray, who I think was very attractive. And it's a terrible story. Even though it's not real, and then they got Jessica Lange to play, the Fay Ray part in the new movie. I mean, this poor King Kong. What a terrible story. And then Donkey Kong, which made no sense why they called it Donkey. I'm sure there's a story there. And the Atari company, which made little playing cards for a game called Hanafuda, which is a fun game to play. I played it quite a bit, never with a human. I have some Hanafuda cards over here somewhere. I like the game. I Ching. People watching this who are like in the future will want to do I Ching are thinking, I'm not watching this anymore. I'm honest, I'm going to get to it. So the whole point is that the I Ching is a very easy oracle to use. So simple. And yet we in the West, we just turn it into this so complicated thing. And I think the reason for that is because we kind of like to make things very exclusive. And we like to gum it up as much as we can. All you really need to do is find your favorite way of consulting the oracle. The 3-coin method is simple. There are so many different ways to use it. There's dice. I'm not going to get into how to do that. Someday I'll teach it. It's so simple. I didn't come up with it. That's another thing that someone came up with. There's yarrow stocks. You can find that. There's traditional method. There's other methods. I've watched your video on the 3-coin method a few times because I have the coins. Very helpful. Feel good. Thank you, Renee. Yeah, it's simple. I mean, I did it, I learned it from this book, which is the I Ching, or Book of Changes, by Richard Wilhelm, translated by Carrie F. Baines. I still believe this to be the book. There are thousands, maybe tens of thousands of books out there on the I Ching. Maybe more. But I love this book. I've been using it forever and ever and ever. Ever and ever. This is the book that I was first introduced to the I Ching with in 1968. You know, read this book. Well, not this book. The guy thought he was shoving me in front of Bibles, but this book was on the shelf. So this is the book that I grabbed. And the rest is, as we say, excuse me, allergy season. You know, I could use my sleeve, but I'm wearing short sleeves, so that would be my arm, and that would be disgusting. But the 3-coin method can be confusing. The video is not. It's very to the point. You have to put up with me saying right all the time. There's a guy who got just nuts. Just went nuts. And he teaches people how to be calm. He just went crazy. You know, he just went, and I can't blame him. It irritated me too. Later when I watched, I went, oh my God, that was terrible. You know, but I was new at it. I was new at talking. I mean, not new at talking. I've been talking since I was a kid. But, you know, you get used to things, and okay, let's go on. So I want to talk today about my favorite method right now is the dragon beads. Now, what did I do? Here it is. I like using these when I'm doing it here. There are small dragon beads. I have lots of dragon beads that I've made. I'm going to make another dragon bead set that I'm going to wear, and not wear these because I have to drag these over my thumb, and it's hard, and you know, I'm getting old. I might tear my thumb off. You know, you get old and things get fragile, you know. But yes, so if you have a question about the 3-coin method, watch the video on this my channel. It's got thousands of views, and people have left lots of comments saying that was really good. I liked it, and I'm very appreciative of that. And you can leave messages. You can leave messages on this show or other shows telling people how much you like it, only because if you do. If you don't like it, you know, well, you don't have to say anything. Well, no, say whatever you want. I'm okay. Yeah, I'm an old man. I've heard it all. You know, trust me. I'm married. I've heard it all. You know, trust me. I've heard lots. I've heard everything. I'm kidding. So what do you do? There's also a 6-coin method, which I'm extremely fond of. If you're in a pinch and you don't have the time to toss, there's also other 2-coin. There's 2-coin methods that you can do. You know, 2 coins. I mean, there's all sorts of, but the 6-coin method, I'm very fond. That's a Tibetan method that they use. 6 coins, done, finito. You're ready to go. I like these beads. I love using these beads. I was going through some drawings that I did. I found this. I printed it out. This is an alternate dragon bead that I drew a long time ago. You know. And you can run back and stop this and see that it is different than the one that I gave you earlier in another show, because you can see that the red beads and the black beads are together, you know? And that's not at all like the one I gave you earlier. And I actually drew on there the hexagrams that they form. And it's a completely different set. And I had one of those that I wore around my wrist every day until they broke. And then they broke, and all the beads went all over the place. And I had knotted between them. So now I have a tendency to knot between them. If you want, you can go back and do a screen capture. But I like this one better because the red and the black beads are separated. You know, you could make a set out of beans, out of like kidney beans and black beans, but they would feel different because they're different sizes, and that wouldn't work. You really want them to be completely anonymous. I can't tell if this is a red or a black bean black. Oh, see, I knew. But that's not because I could tell the difference. Red, black, aha, see? Okay. I was just trying to show off, but that didn't work. Smart guy. Anyway, so as easy as it is, you have to put some thought into it. Now, that's why I said it's like a map. When you have a GPS, you say, okay, I want to go to, Zelda's Hot Pocket Inn. Now, I'm not using Hot Pocket the traditional way. What they do is because you don't want to get sued by the people who make those things. Because there's nothing wrong with them. Nothing wrong. Even now and again, I might want to eat one. Especially if I need to move things along a little bit, no. But in Zelda's Hot Pocket, what you do is you go and you're cold. What she'll do is she'll put rocks in your pocket that have been steamed, and they keep you warm. Okay, but it's at another part of town. And you go in, and Zelda, she takes these pockets that have been steamed, and she dries them off, and she puts them in your pocket, but it's way on the other side of town. So you plug that into your GPS, and it tells you turn by turn. Turn here on Monongahela River Drive, and then you turn left up here on Zip It Up Drive, and you go all the way, and then you find your place. But you've told the GPS where you want to go, and it tells you turn by turn by turn, Watch out for the bird that's flying overhead. You're in the right place. So on and so forth. And that's not the I Ching. What the I Ching is you say, look, I'm thinking of doing this. You don't say, should I do this or not? Because that's wasting the incredible talent of this oracle. Really, it's a waste. What you're doing is you're saying, what will happen if I do this? Okay. That's what you're saying. What will happen if I do this? And the I Ching will draw you a map. Sometimes a very quick map. If there's no changes, that's not a good thing usually. It says nothing's going to happen. In other words, no big deal. What are you making a big deal out of it? What's wrong with you, Mo? Is there something wrong with you? Is there something really, you're annoying me, Mo, with this question. You're really kind of annoying me. Or sometimes it will show you a very long turn by turn. This will happen, then this will happen, and this will happen. And this is, some people, have a problem with how to deal with the moving lines. And we'll talk about that. Okay? Personally, it's easy. I think it's easy. So let's do it. And I'm going to use these. Okay? And I may not use the book. I'll just tell you what I do. Okay? So I start with these. If you have, and I've used, you go back to my former shows and look up one on the dragon beads. And there's one, and I'm not sure which it is, sorry, but there's one where I actually show you how to make these, and I show you the pattern, and so on and so forth. And you can make your own if you want, or you use the coins, ka-ching, ka-ching, and you but you simply ask a question, and you do it. All right. So let's say I'm going to ask a question here. Do I have any dilemmas? I rarely have dilemmas because I live what I call a magical life, a magical lifestyle. Now, people don't understand what that means. What does that mean, however? It means that I don't live a very complicated life. I live according to my ethics and my standards, and I follow very easy ideas, you know. When I want to do something, I kind of do it, unless it's, I never hurt anybody. Don't want to anyway. I live by the precepts of peace and love, which I believe in, peace right here, right? All the time. And whenever I find myself getting riled about something, I think about this. I wear it when I'm awake. I don't wear it when I'm asleep because I don't want it to kill me in my sleep with that. But I believe in peace. And I believe that peace comes from the inside out. So if I do find myself getting annoyed, and I try not to cuss, although I do cuss when I drive sometimes, because sometimes people are really stupid in what they do. They don't use turn signals. They don't stop at stop signs. And so there are times when I feel, and it's okay. My father cursed. Boy, did he curse. As a matter of fact, he enjoyed it. He admitted that to me. But he did it in Arabic. And they're beautiful curses in Arabic. I mean, they're really quite colorful and very well done, And they're not at all like our curses. They're just woven so beautifully. So anyway, back to I Ching. So anyway, I live a life, and by magical I mean I just allow the universe to interplay in my life. I don't fight nature. I let it do what it's going to do, and it does so rather beautifully. I don't fight it. And I'm mystified by it constantly. It's a lovely thing. We'll talk about that sometime, and how you can do the same thing as well. It's rather splendid and quite lovely. So I'm going to use these, and let's see, a question I might have. First of all, when you're using these, I always start with the yin, which are the dark beads, the black beads, and the yang, as I've been calling them my whole life, on the top, right? And it's just consistency. That's all it is. And I just run them. And what's a good question here? Let's see. But is there something I should do? Yeah, there's a tree we need to have removed. Would it be better for me? What is it? Should I have the tree removed sooner than later? What will happen if I wait another year to have a tree removed? It is dead. It's as dead as Jacob Marley in the beginning of A Christmas Carol. Okay, it's gone. The company destroyed it when we had to have our sewer line replaced. Gone. I loved that tree. I loved it. I called it Glory. I named all the trees in our yard, and that was Glory because it was glorious to behold. So, what will happen if I wait another year? That's my question to that tree. Okay. All right, about that tree. That's a simple one, and it's a simple question, and it's no big deal, and so I'm going to start. And so what I do is I just do this until I just stop, and I stop below the bead that will show me a hexagram, and I'm going to show it to you. And I have here, and that's something. So we have yang, yin, yang, yin, yang, yin, yang, yin. And that gives us, at the bottom here, we see that this trigram here is known as Li. Li, the middle daughter, and above her is Kan, who is the middle son. Okay? And this is after completion. After completion. So one might just kind of say, well, I guess it probably shows a little bit, or it doesn't matter, does it? I'll hold it close. So this is the 63rd hexagram after completion. And we say, okay, well, It's done. After completion, it's done. It's done. It's kind of finished. We can look at the book, but I think we get an idea after completion that it's done. But I'm going to see if there are any moving lines, okay? And the way you do that with the dragon beads is very simple. All I'm just going to do is say, okay, show me if there are any moving lines. If you do this and then you stop, if 2 consecutive beads are red, it's a moving line. And you do that for the 6 beads that from the bottom up. So here's 1 bead with my fingers on it, black, new. Bead number 2, I'm not looking, no. Bead number 3, no. Bead number 4, no. Bead number 5, no. Bead number 6, yes. Now if there's another red one, it's a moving line. Bead number 7, well, maybe number 6, no. Second one, yes. So we had the bottom one was Li, the top one was Kan. So if we have, okay, so it's, so it goes from being Kan to being, so it goes to being Sun. Yes, yes. So it goes to being Sun. So, I don't know if I like that, because then it's fire below and wind on the top, which is the family. Yes. So it's Chiren, which is the 37th hexagram, which is family. Okay. So I have to think about that. So it becomes, if I wait a year, then it goes from being after completion to the family. Okay. So, the family. So it becomes responsibility. Aha. So what that says to me is that it could become a matter of responsibility. In other words, I might get cited, right? Now, getting a tree cut down around here is not cheap. We're in the middle of a drought. Could cost anywhere from $250 to like $500, something I don't actually have, so it means I have to put it on credit. But I don't want to get cited. So waiting a year might not be the best idea. Okay. Let me see what this says here in the book. Okay. So go to Wilhelm here. 33, you're in the family. Wind comes forth from fire, the image of the family. Oh, well, that too that's scary, right? It's right in the front yard. And duration is way of life. Heat creates energy, stirred up by the fire. Well, that's just that. I didn't even think about that. It could start a fire. Especially, guess what's happening in 2 days? Well, 3 days. 4th of July. I can't have it cut down before then. But it is a possibility that there could be a fire because it's a dead tree. I tried cutting some branches off of it to get it done. I realized that's not going to work. That's just way too much. So you see, the answer, there are many different, just that simple. It could start on fire. And there's wind and it's close to the house. It could start the house on fire. What do you think? It seems to me that I'm guessing, yikes. I got cited for a couple of trees. Coincidence, Pamela? That's what you said? You got cited for a couple of trees? Coincidence? Probably not a coincidence. I'm thinking, quite seriously, that I need to get this tree taken care of and go into, Renee, hose it down? Well, probably what I need to do is get an arborist out here and get an estimate. Well, I'm going to call that arborist tomorrow. Yeah. Could be lightning too. You're absolutely right, Ann. We've had a lot of lightning around here lately. See? Simple and common sense. Common sense. Common sense. Before the fourth and on the fourth. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, we were so angry at the company that did the sewer line. They were destructive. Oh my God. God almighty, they were destructive. I was going to leave them a terrible review. But I decided not to because they can sue you now for doing that. The guy who ran the excavator, he and my wife got into an argument, you know. Yeah, based on this, if I don't have it cut down, I'm stupid. If I wait a year, and so I'm not going to wait a year, I'm going to have it done as soon as possible, I think, or at least I'm going to have some estimates done and have a look see and see what it costs. This a company I used before, their minimum was $500, and it was. I mean, and they just trimmed this tree to try and mitigate its demise after the sewer line people replaced the line. So, Alan King, a comic from the '60s, very funny man. I mean, as a writer, he was hysterical. I would cry. I would laugh so hard. He wrote a book called Anyone Who Owns His Own Phone. Yeah, anyone who owns his own home deserves it. I had no idea when I was in the 11th grade or 12th. I guess I was a senior in the 12th grade that would apply to me. I was just laughing so hard reading that. Okay, I Ching to the rescue. Clear as can be. Do you agree? Right? Yeah. There it is. This is how easy the I Ching is to use. I could have used coins. I could have used, but there it is. I'm going to suggest anyone who uses the I Ching, you can use just paper, but I like these Yao sticks. They're called Yao sticks. They have different names for them, but they're very simple. They're just sticks, 6 of them, that have these markings on them. Yin, Yang, Yin marked old, or Yang marked old Yang, and Yin marked old Yin. Pardon me. And this is to keep track of what you've thrown. And you can also, people just throw them sometimes and do the I Ching that way, but why not put a little energy into it? Just a tiny bit. It's a beautiful, beautiful process. You're interacting with something universal. I mean, there is this universal mind that we are connected to. Tarot is the same way. There is a universal thought process that divulges. I mean, that was wisdom just now. Do you see how wise? And I had to go to the book. I had to read the word fire, even though I knew it was fire. I said it was fire, right? And it didn't register because why? Because I didn't want to hear it. That's why. That's right. Yeah. So this is the way it is. We have this incredible ability. Actually, there are some suckers coming up. I think honestly, we're just gonna call the game, and we have a very nice bird bath. Although we're in a drought, and in this drought, I believe we're not allowed to even put a bird bath out right now, which seems so inhumane. No fountains, no bird bath. I mean, it's like, God Almighty, give us a little, I think if they catch kids using the garden hose to drink out of, they're going to shave their backs or something when they turn 18. That's something horrible like that. Kidding. But let's do another one. Something, not as terrifying. That's not terrifying. We're in a drought here. Um, yeah, it was an ornamental apple tree, and they're all over the area, and they're dying just quickly because of this drought we're in. We had one of the nicest winters I can remember. Unfortunately, that meant no snow, so I didn't have to do too much of a back-breaking chore, but at the same time, no moisture. Okay, 250 years under the most weird circumstances right now that I can remember. And I started remembering things politically at Dwight D. Eisenhower. That's how old I am. And I remember Nixon clearly. I watched the Watergate trials my first year of college with other college people. And we would cheer and we would boo. Yeah, it was something. It was a lot of fun. And it was more than a 12-hour scandal. What a nitwit. But I contend everything is going to be fine. Eventually, in time, and that that things are going to work themselves out and be better for it. Actually better for it. Because we will have learned something and righted it. Let's see. Oh, Joe. Hey, Joe, my friend Joe. My childhood friend Joe. I just returned from a 6-day vacation to Iowa, where I met relatives I hadn't seen in 50 to 60 years, where never met. Oh, I flew out to San Francisco, to Omaha, Nebraska. Good for you, Joe. I'm honored that you're visiting me. It's very nice to see you. Can I tell them, Joe, what your day job is? Is that okay? You can let me know. I don't want to tell them unless it's okay. You let me know. You'll let me know. Joe is a friend of mine. I took over his newspaper route when he went on vacation when we were kids. And the people on his route were not happy. They were not happy with me at all. At all. So you can let me know if it's okay. If it's not okay, I won't, Joe. But if it's okay, I'll let them know what your day job is. It's good. It's a good job. It's a wonderful job. Joe is a fantastic man. He's a very spiritual man. Anyway, so I'm going to ask a question, and the question is and we'll come back to Joe. He's a wonderful guy. Okay, I can tell. Joe is a bishop in the Church of Thomas. He is an actual, and I'm not just, he's an actual bishop in the Church of Thomas. And it is an honor and a privilege to still know you, Joe. And one of the great joys of my life. I looked for you for years and years and years, had no idea where you were. And yeah, Joe and I both we're part of the counterculture at different times, I think. I became a complete freak. And kind of still am. Joe is now a bishop in the Church of Thomas, and so proud of you, Joe. How wonderful you are. How sweet. And now he leads others on a path to spirituality. And he's still one of us. I'm convinced. I'm sure you would agree, Joe. Yeah. And still listens to Moby Grape. So, um, yeah. So here we are. And the question I have is what will be, will the future, it's not a yes or no question, but my belief is that the future will be good for this. And how will it flower? And we'll see what it tells us. I'm not going to be more specific than that. So I'm in the right place. And what do I get? I get here. Aha. Yang, yang, yin. And here so you can see it. Let's see, like this. Yang, yang, yin. Yang, yang, yang. Oh, no. Yang, yang, yin. Yin, yin, yin. So this is going to be, oh, well, that's a definite. That's interesting. Pushing, no, it isn't. It's approach. No, it isn't. Wait a minute. I have to think about it for a second. Yeah. That is approach. The 19th hexagram. Approach. Okay. Joe says we're in harmony. Thank you, Joe. I love you too. Says he loves me. Maka J, thank goodness for the counterculture freaks. My mom wasn't one, but her friends were old hippies. Made me feel much less weird as a kid. At least I knew I kept good company. Amen. Amen. Pretty non-judgmental, to be honest. And you can bet that Joe and I experienced some very strange times, and in many ways are lucky to be here. I'm very lucky to be here. I almost experienced not being here several times. And I every day I'm here, it's a blessing. And that's a fact. The 19th hexagram. Let me look this up. See what we're being told, because I'm having to think about it too much. Approach has supreme success. Perseverance furthers. When the 8th month comes, there will be misfortune. The earth above a lake. Thus, the superior person is inexhaustible in his will to teach and without limits, in his tolerance and protection of the people. In their tolerance and protection of the people. The earth borders upon the lake from above. This symbolizes the approach and condescension of the man of higher position to those beneath him. The two parts of the image, well, what are we saying here? Inexhaustible in depth. So the sage is inexhaustible in his or her readiness to teach mankind. And just as the earth is boundlessly wide, sustaining and caring for all creatures on it, so is the sage sustains and cares for all people and excludes no part of humanity. Which I think is the essence of what this nation is truly about. So I think it's going to be okay. You a hippie freak. Oh, you were gloriously a hippie freak, Joe. You saw the runestone at the Danish American Museum in Elkhorn, Iowa. That's pretty cool. I've been to Stonehenge, but I was like 8 or 9 months old and do not remember. But I was there. Made a difference. Let's see if there are any moving lines on this. 1. Now, if there's another red, it moves. 2, no. Second, 1, no. No. 3, 4, that's 1. 4, 2, okay. So the first line is then, that's going to be, now here's where the map comes in. So we're going to see that the fourth line, so that's the bottom is dwi and the second one is sun. No, it's not. The second one is going to be following. No, 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 no. The marrying maiden. Huh. The 54th hexagram. Following. Marrying maiden, rather. The marrying maiden. So, okay. So, in other words, okay, let me think about that for a second. So, what's going to happen in between then and where we're headed? So, okay, let me think. Go to the next one. The fifth line. One red, two reds. So we have the marrying maiden, and then it turns into dwi, pleasure. Okay. Turns into 58. And then let's go see where there. 1, 2. Oh my. So then it turns into... So what we have are 3 moving lines, which is entirely possible, especially since this has the coin toss odds. So what it's saying is that there will be changes coming, and those changes will be about compassion, and those changes will be about someone who will come along who will encourage us to follow them, to take their hand and to follow them joyously, which makes perfect sense, and to be with them and will be pleasurable. That makes perfect sense. And will once again take control and charge, but in a good way, in a strong way. That's what this says. It's a map. Does that make sense? I think it makes sense to me. That's how the I Ching is. It's like a map, and it's saying in the end, what we will find is, and the treading is the last one, the 9th hexagram or the 10th hexagram. Treading, where yes, there will be infractions, but they will be dealt with good-naturedly by us. There will be things that we won't be so upset about. We'll be much... Thank you, Ed. Yeah, makes sense to me too. The 10th hexagram is treading, where someone treads upon the tail of the tiger, but the tiger does not turn and devour them. So we just saw a progression of going from a place that is, in my opinion, not very good to being much better, to where the government goes through a series of changes of being tolerable because they're more humane and working better. Good. But that's where it should be. I maintain that the founders in this country were imperfect. They were enslavers. And they knew it was wrong. They knew it was wrong. But it was about money. It's still about money, isn't it? Well, I don't have much of it. I survive. That's all I need, you know. Yeah. You're right, all of you. Makes sense. Fingers crossed that we do the work to get there. I agree. I believe in this country. My dad believed in it so much. In 1939, he saw Mr. Smith Goes to Washington. He was a kid. And he said, I want to move to that country. And he did. And I'm the result. Well, I'm not just the only result, but I mean, I'm here because of that. I would have had a very different life there. Probably burned at the stake, because I'm me no matter what. And you're you no matter what, right? The I Ching. I think people should use it more often. Give it a shot. If you have questions, if you have comments about today's show, please leave some. I fixed the comment thing. It works now. Even just say hi. You know, it's lovely to connect with you. Thank you in the chat room. Thank you so much. It's wonderful to talk to you. It's wonderful to be here. Trust me. I have so many friends who aren't here. Thank you, Joe, for being here. Thank you all in the chat room for being you. Anne, thank you. Renee, Pamela, Macca, thank you. All of you watching, you're all a blessing. And I love you all completely. Oh, thank you. I'm glad. Oh, you're doing I Ching with guitar picks. Wow. That's inspired. I love that. No, thank you. Thank you. Thank you all. Yeah, have a wonderful week, you too. And if all goes well, I'll see you next week. Until then, I wish you peace and I wish you love. And have a wonderful week and a safe 4th of July. And hug your pets, because this is the worst week of the year for them. Take care. Love you all dearly, and talk to you later. Bye-bye.
Until next we meet, I'll be waiting for you right here in the Paisley Penny Arcade.